Hello. Now we are going to discuss about cloud deployment scenario. So we'll see high level generic scenario which has been proposed and demonstrated by NIST Cloud Standard Roadmap report, which says that there could be three broader ways of scenarios that are possible when there is a single cloud system. Second, when there is multiple cloud system. And third, when there's multiple cloud systems, along with there are there are more number of simultaneous multiple cloud that are being used. So in this single cloud system, when this serially one at a time cloud were used, so here it's like in the deployment or to the cloud was being done. Thereafter, single cloud is being managed, and then the then there's interface to the cloud was being there, so that the client could use and understand what should be the interface and what should be the discussion. Thereafter, if there's a cloud enterprise, so they can go and move in the next cloud whatever they want to use, and there's migration of between two different cloud was being possible with the help of some enterprise system. Like for example, in when you log into some cloud based system, they'll ask for your credentials, so you can automatically give your Gmail credentials or any other credentials, Facebook credentials. Then it will help you to do the uh, log into that particular cloud. So why? Because Gmail and Facebook already have your basic information like your name, gender, date of birth, etc. So these information are there already. So they'll share the basic information through APIs. So there's you can move to your information from one cloud to another. There are various interfaces for the APIs that are being used to do all these things. So these interfaces are being worked out, and so you can select out which cloud you want to work. So there could be two different functions or operations that are available with the two different cloud. With the two functions are of same property and same functionality. So you can choose out which function or which operation is better for you. So you can operate with that particular operation. So in that way, you can have a selection policy as well. Then you can operate across the multiple cloud. There could be multiple cloud possible. Like for example, you can deploy on Heroku or deploy on a Google App Engine or any other cloud platform. So you can deploy it. So that is cross operation of different clouds. Then these are the basic detailed level of scenarios that are being possible in single cloud system. So what it says, based upon interaction of the cloud and the various interactions are possible. That scenario one says deployment of single cloud. You will first deploy your own cloud if you are a developer. Then there is second scenario that you have to do is you have to manage your cloud according to the clients, according to the uh, surrounding APIs and all these things. You have to, when there's change in requirement, you have to change the software. Then there's interface of an enterprise that are being possible. For example, there are various interface that are required. So you can use those interface and make your single level cloud better. So interface migration could also be possible, and replacement of single cloud could also be possible. Thereafter, multi-cloud systems are there, which says that serially one at a time. So it means that you are going to manage one cloud at a time. And this, what are the possible scenarios? You can migrate between cloud system, means your client can migrate between cloud system. So for example, you migrate your database from one location to another location, means another one cloud to another cloud through some APIs. For doing this purpose, you need to have interface. So interface to across multiple cloud systems, so that with the help of that API interface, you can move out the data from one cloud to another. Then you have to work with the selected cloud system, so that you can select, there are could be multiple cloud possible, so you can select out which cloud do you want to work with that data. So you can select out, in that case, you if you have the two clouds, and at the two different uh, repository, and you would have same data replicated on two different cloud. For example, you stored the same data on Google Drive, as well as you stored same data on Microsoft OneDrive. So this is possible. Then there's multiple cloud that could be worked simultaneously, more than one at a time. So you can operate across multiple cloud systems. How you can do this? So you are taking, you are developing a website. In that website, what you are doing, you are using Google Maps to show it on your website that this is your location. Then you can use Google Translator to uh, translate that language. Then there's third one that is possible, search engine you can add. You can use Yahoo search engine or Bing search engine. So these are example of using multiple cloud systems. Then there's deployment cases for the high level scenario. What does it says? That cloud computing use cases are divided into four quadrants based upon the centralized and distributed cloud computing, based upon the trusted boundaries or crossing trust boundaries. What does this mean? So there are two factors in which how the data is being stored, means at your own location or at distributed location, how it is being there in a restricted to a single company or across the multiple company, means trust boundaries are there. So what does this say? Centralized versus distributed, within versus cross trust boundaries. Deployment case 1 is possible, deployment case 1B is possible, deployment case 2A is possible, deployment case 2B is possible. So we'll discuss this into the detail. Like in the case 1, what happens, what they are saying, that each cloud provider will, what each cloud provider will do, there could be multiple consumers with the client provider interact with the provider. So what does this says? This says that there is a single cloud like Google Gmail system. There could be multiple cloud consumers and multiple cloud interactors, so that there could be each cloud, means Google Gmail could work out in that way. Then the second case is that when there's distributed across multiple administrators in the cloud domain, like you have information that are that could be worked with two different cloud. So the consumer based application, these are cloud consumer based application, means there could be distributed across two or more cloud platforms that provides some distributed administration. And then this cloud consumer for this is like cloud provider interactions are there. So these are the various phenomena on based on which the quadrants of the cloud use cases are being possible. So we'll discuss this in case one, centralized, case two, distributed in the detail. So case one is provider oriented. Case two is cloud consumer oriented applications. So in the case 1A means centralized one says that private cloud is there. You have a single administrator and domain boundary is very trusted. So this is case one. In the case 1B, it is commercial cloud means you can say case one is internal system of a organization or an institute. Then case 1B says that there's a single administrator like uh, Google features that are being used, but it is commercial. Google is a commercial company for providing cloud to your institute. Then it is outside your institute, and but that has trusted boundary, and that could be said as centralized. You can have only one administrator is there for a particular university it is working. Google mailing system like IIIT Dharwad would have a specific domain for the Google cloud. Then there's distributed, which just says that federated cloud or two or more administrative clouds domains are possible. What does this is that there could be two different features that you are using, means your organization is using. For example, an organization or institute can use both Google Cloud as well as Microsoft Cloud. So they purchase both the two different cloud. So the somebody had shared a link of Google Docs on the Microsoft mailing system, so that Docs will still work with that email ID. So that is the cloud provider would can agree to uh, enforce the policy. So in that way, there could be multiple cloud provider, and the uh, consumer would have to agree with the policy, and they have to mutually discuss the policy and governance, because there are two different cloud an organization is using. So there has to be common trust boundary. So this is an example like Google Colab is being purchased by an organization, as well as there's Microsoft OneDrive spaces are being purchased by an organization. So that are example of the two different cloud boundaries. Then there's hybrid cloud application across private and public trust boundaries. What does this mean? Your organization installed Amazon based that eucalyptus. So your organization installed eucalyptus across your multiple computers in the lab or some institute, and uh, those middlewares of eucalyptus, there is an API for Amazon, and that API for Amazon is being connected with Amazon server. So whenever there's more load of more amount of resources are being required, more number of clients are being required, so that API will help your organization to shift to the public cloud. So this is combination of private and public trust boundary, and there could be multiple clouds could also be possible where both administrator domain and trust boundaries are being crossed. Means the data set that you are storing in the eucalyptus is there with the administrative domain in within your institute. Then that trust boundaries being crossed means your data is being shifted to other institute or organization as well. Means at Amazon Web Service, it is being shifted. So it is out of the trust boundary. So there could be possible scenarios like that. So what are the technical requirement for all these things? So for example, there's technical requirement of, so in this way, 10 technical requirements are there where you have to focus. First of all, you have to create, update, delete data objects in the cloud system. You need to understand how to create, how to access the cloud system, how to update, how to delete. If you are deploying some service in the platform as a service, then you have movement of virtual machine, that how your virtual application should move in between the cloud, means how scalability can be managed. So in the case of platform as a service, this virtual machine movements and virtual application are being taken care by the PaaS provider itself, means Google App Engine will do the migration for you. Then there's selection of best infrastructure as a service vendor for private externally hosted cloud. So means you can choose whether you want to go with Google infrastructure for deployment, or you can go for Heroku based infrastructure for deployment. So you can choose which IaaS vendor could be better. For example, mm, you can directly choose, you have used Google Drive, or you have used Microsoft one. So there's comparison between them. Then tool for the monitoring and managing multiple cloud systems. So this is a technical thing which is being done by the auditors or some testers. So they keep on monitoring the functionality, and they ask for changing. So the management or change management will done when there is multiple cloud system are being involved. Then migrating data between cloud is also a technical requirement or scenario. When you are with the API or some interface, you are downloading some data set and uploading it to the another cloud. Then single sign on and accessing to the multiple cloud could be possible. So there could be single sign on to access the multiple cloud. For example, you had just logged in with your Gmail account, but when you go for accessing some sports or some game website, so they'll ask for the credentials, not ask for the credentials, they ask for the basic information, and the credentials were being used by the only with Gmail, that to verify that sports or that game that you are gaming app that you are using. So that is just for login purpose, and that just required Gmail to have to be signed in, and rest other, for example, EA Sports is there. So EA Sports asks for the basic information from Gmail Google account if you give permissions. Then orchestration process across cloud platform. What happens? Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. These three things are integrated. So these three things are needed to be mixed up, and how better they are mixed up means how they better performed. So that is called orchestration. Then discovery of cloud resources, means there could be multiple cloud resources available, means video files, image files, or some document files. So how that discovery could be possible, how to search engine should work out. Then evaluation of SLA, how that SLA should be evaluated, that there should be penalty or not penalty. So these are managerial aspects. So that service level agreement should be meet out. Then auditing of the cloud, whether that cloud is better or not, how it is being performing. So this auditing could be done. Then it is cloud service deployment and testing scenario that we'll see later, just after 5 or 10 minutes break. Thanks for this part.